Hi, this is Microsoft Virtual Academy. I'm Jerry.
I'm Darren.
And this is our modal dialog inside the Template 10 library. We're getting started with Template 10, going through all of its controls, the modal dialog control. Let's talk about the use case before we do anything. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a control that would allow you to overlay everything with something specific like a busy dialog and have that spinner so that nothing else gets clicked while you're moving it? That would really be terrific. But then I'd want it for something else, like maybe a login screen as well. So it can't be called the busy dialog because I want to use it for other things. I just want something modal over top. So we'll call it the modal dialog and make it more universally available. So it's more of a generic implementation. That's the modal dialog control inside Template 10. Basically, it can remind you a little bit of the split view control. It has two different pieces of content. One is the base layer or the content, and then we have the modal content, which goes on top of it, which is by default hidden, and then you get to elect to show it with a property change of is modal true or false. It's as easy as that. It's very customizable and easy to use, and there's a handful of features that are kind of specific to Windows and definitely specific to Template 10 that make it really nice. Specifically, they are can back button dismiss. So let's pretend you're making just a nice little informational dialog that pops up that says your internet connection has been lost. And you wanted to pop that up and make sure they didn't miss it. But you also wanted to give them a kind of a normal modality. And I don't want to use that word, overloaded word now. Approach to dismiss it. And so maybe they want to hit the back button and dismiss it. So you can set that to true, and it does. But you can also unwind that and say that the back button locks everything down as well, including the ability to navigate. So even though the control itself may not respond to the back button, it still might allow the user to navigate back to the previous page, and you don't want that to happen either. So I can disable all of the back button capabilities, including preventing navigation as well. So some cool capabilities that really don't exist elsewhere. If you were to look in the standard XAML toolbox, the closest control you might find is the content dialog. It can also be dismissed with the back button, but certainly can't stop the back button, right? You're going to have to do a lot of custom coding in order to get that to work. And you also are going to you got a long row to hoe in order to template that in a way that you want it to look and respond to things like visual states as well. So this is totally easy for you to use. And inside Template 10, if you allow the bootstrapper to create the frame for you, you automatically get your root visual wrapped inside the modal dialog. So you can say bootstrapper.current.modaldialog.isModalTrue, and you get to see.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Just rolls off the tongue, and you get to see the modal UI. There won't be a default modal UI. It'll be empty. So you'll say to see it, and then you won't see it. But you can either supply it in code, and you can say modal dialog.modalContent equals the code, or you can new up a view, or you can actually declare it inside the XAML part of your app XAML.
Code that shows that.
Let's see it's implemented. Yes, that's right. It's really I really like this one. Wait, before you do. Let me. Oh, is this the code you made?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yes.
Yeah, the slide that you
show
have.
my slide. I'm looking at this slide. It's wonderful. All right. All right. This is inside the Bootstrapper on initialize async, and the code that we're looking at here is specific to the implementation of the Hamburger shell. And so that's the reason there's a couple extra lines. And so in this case, we're making sure that the modal dialog is not already part of the current content. And of course, on initialize, it won't be unless we're resuming. That's the reason we have the if statement. And if so, then right here you can see on this line, we're setting window.current.content equals a new modal dialog, and we're presetting three properties. First, we're setting the content to the view. So in this case, it's going to be the shell, since we're using Hamburger menu. And then we're setting the modal dialog to views.busy. Of course, that's just a view that you could make look like anything. And then disable back button when modal equals true will be our default, because defaulted is false. In fact, all the defaults make it pretty innocuous of a modal dialog. You've got to go
almost
in and
a non-modal modal.
Almost non-modal, that's right. That's right. And the end. So from that point forward, then I can call and say bootstrapper.current.modaldialog. and go from there. That is modal equals true.
Follow the yellow brick road.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
Okay, so here is, if we're going to do this inside XAML, it would look like this. It's worth saying that I can stack modal dialogues on top of each other, and I don't have to nest them. I can just stack them right on top of each other.
It's something that's very different from the content dialog, because you can only have one in your visual tree.
Ah, that's right. And so what that allows me to do is to go ahead and identify or declare my busy dialog, but then I can also have, let's say, a login dialog as well, and I don't have to swap out the content. I can just declare it 2 times. And so this is the way you would do it. You can see that the modal content's being set right here. In this case, no content is being set because this one would be set on top of other content and not have to swap them in and out. So you can do it either way, whichever makes you more comfortable. But if you're going to start nesting things and making it easy, and you don't want to have things inside a grid or whatever, then you can use the content property of the modal dialog. Pretty nice. I went to Microsoft, but I think I want to show a demo. No. I think I want you to show a demo.
Yes, I'm going to show a demo. Ha-ha!
Aha!
Ha-ha!
Visual Studio.
Okay, so if we quickly flip to my screen, what we've got here is, as Jerry's just shown, here's an example of how we create our modal dialog during our onInitialize async, and we can get that set up. Called out of view.busy, so inside our views, we have our busy view. If we look inside here, we have a progress ring, text block, and so on and so forth.
Kind of up to you to make it look the way you want, but this is a nice one.
You can absolutely style it. This is good at getting you out the starting blocks. If we have a quick look at our sample app here, we've got our settings screen, which allows us to fire this using our timeout behavior,
that's
well as our ability to launch this. So if we show busy, here we get please wait, and we can see that that is being set by this text block behind here. So again,
do it again and try and click the back button.
So we're going to show I am busy. I try and click the back button. We can see it's blocked that behavior.
Yeah, that's nice. All the keystrokes are blocked as well.
And so the great thing about that is if you've truly got something that's long running, that's going to require some work to stop, which is in a lot of cases, for example, I quoted earlier on in another session, media encoding. That's a long running task that you may not be able to cancel immediately by hitting back. And you want to make sure you collect all those resources and dispose of them correctly and so on and so forth when you leave. So you want to make sure that when you finally leave that screen, everything's tidied up after you. You don't want to just ghost sitting there behind running all of these long-running tasks.
We get a lot of questions on how you would implement login and search and things like that. All of them can be done with this easy modal dialog control that you can just slap into your app and go from there. It's really nice.
That's a technical term, slap in.
Slap into your app. Yeah. Pretty great. And anyway, it's an easy implementation. The control itself, lightweight and fun to use.
You should use it.
Good luck.